It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job. We are your podcast for relevant and relatable conversations with contractors, hopefully bringing a little entertainment to you as well. My name is Mike. That's Brian.
Yo.
Episode 75 today. Our guest is Gregg McKay. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, Greg.
Good, guys.
President, CEO, wearer of all hats over at NU-VUE Window Films.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me in.
No, of course.
Thanks for coming in.
It's always a pleasure to have somebody in the studio with us.
Here.
Yeah. So, kind of as we get started, let's. How did you get in this industry? Maybe however long ago it was, and that journey to where you are now is with your own company at NU-VUE.
Well, it's been quite a while. 36 years ago, I was back in high school and saw my brother tint his truck window, his little mini truck, and thought, oh, that's cool. I can do that. Of course, everybody thinks they can do everything they see.
Right.
So I went down to a local shop and picked up some limo film, and I proceeded to tint my mom's car, which is a little
Did you know that
Toyota.
I was going to say, did you have permission to do so?
She did not know that. And I assumed that vehicle shortly after I put that limo film all the way around on it. I thought it was the coolest thing. She didn't, obviously. But I got known in the high school as being a local window tinter because everybody saw that and said, hey, how much to do my car? Well, I don't know, beer money, gas money.
Yeah.
Bring the beer, I'll take all day, and we'll have some at the end. And so just kind of went on from there. And the more cars I got under my belt, the better I got at it. And then after that, went and got a job at a local company. At the same time, I was going to school to be a CHP officer. I was studying to be a CHP officer. Well, you can see what happened. I stuck with the window tinting. And then just kind of built my way up from there, opened my first business in 91 after working for a couple different shops. And of course, everybody thinks, oh, I can do it better on my own. And so it was a bit of a struggle. And back then, 91, that was when we went to the Gulf War. So I think the day after we signed the lease agreement, we went to war. And so I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. But anyways, we struggled through that, kind of went through there and got things going. Today, NU-VUE Window Films, we're the largest in San Diego County. And I started this company, in 2008. Of course, when the economy was peaking, I stopped working for a largest window film manufacturer, which I did that for 10 years, and opened up NU-VUE Window Films on, April 1st, 2008. So kept it going from there, and ever since then, we've been growing in size and adding a lot of new products and diversifying our portfolio.
How was that going? And I remember 2008 very well, and I remember being unemployed at some point in that year. How was it at that point in time starting the company when basically the recession was kind of almost full blown at that point, right?
Yes. Well, I had lived back in Colorado at the time. I moved back there for 4 years when I worked for the manufacturer. And then our manufacturing was going through some issues, and I knew I was middle management, and I would probably just be let go at any time. So I did it on my own time, and I knew if, by moving the family back to San Diego with all my contacts and just what our products can do, our safety security films, things like that, if I can't do it then, I should be doing it type of thing. So, I've scored a Maverick on my personality test, so it lives up to
it works.
I go for it and do it and ask questions later type of thing. So, but no, it was a rough start, but it started out, and then once it got traction, then we took off from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, kind of between you started your own shop in 91, and then you said NU-VUE in 2008. You said you went from the retail side to the manufacturer side.
Well, yeah, I went from so I started my first company in 91. Opened up a second location in 93, and we were mainly doing automotive tinting at the time. And we did some flat glass. We were getting into that realm. 98, I sold the companies. I had been approached by the manufacturer to come work for them, and thought, my wife at the time had always said, do something different. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I only know how to squeegee windows and put film on. I don't have much of a, resume. So I got a resume to them and And they wanted that. They wanted me in there because I knew how to tint and I could relate to the tenors out there that that their accounts that they had.
Yeah.
So that spoke big words there, and did that for 2 years. Became the distribution manager for East Coast and West Coast,
Oh, wow.
and responsible for the sales team and all that. Amongst all that, so went from working in a tint shop to running the manufacturing distribution centers and the sales staff from East Coast and West Coast, and always living on a plane and in a hotel. And
Right.
did that for 10 years and didn't really like that. So that was kind of the timing too of 2008. And,
Go back out on your own again,
Yeah, let's
huh?
just go back out. Kids have kind of grown up a little bit, and forced me to make that decision and just go for it.
And so are you guys more, I would imagine, more commercial right now than residential, what you're doing?
Yes, we are more commercial. I'd say we're running about 75% commercial, 25% residential. Residential is still a little soft right now. It's coming back, but the large office buildings that we do, a lot more glass on those.
Yeah,
And not only the outside or the exterior glass, it's the interior work. So a lot of the frosted film, I see you have
I was
some in
going to
your
say,
conference
we
room
moved
there.
in here last July, June, and within a few days they had somebody in here doing this stuff.
Yeah, that is a huge portion of our work that we do.
That's awesome. So, I guess what kind of field operations do you guys run? And how many guys do you guys have out there doing that stuff? And
We have 6 full-time installers right
Okay.
now. We also have 3 sales reps, including myself. I'll get out there and show the guys how to sell once in a while. Gotta keep them
Let me show you what to
in
do,
touch, yeah. Then we have our office staff, which consists of 3 office girls there. And then we also have some subs that we can use that actually they're working on a big project up in LA for us right now. And it's more convenient for them to be on the job than sending my guys up there
Right,
every day from
right.
San Diego. So money on top of money is what it's about. So.
yeah. And I'm assuming these are subs that you guys have worked with in the past, kind of vetted them out, and
Yes.
I know that relationship can be kind of sticky sometimes.
It really is. And, not all window tinters, but sometimes it's, hard to get them on the jobs and do the job right and, and keep that image up for your company all along from start to finish.
Yeah, it's a very specialized thing too. I mean, there can't be a lot of. I can't imagine there's a lot of guys out there that you have to pick from when you're looking for subs, right?
There really isn't, and it's unfortunately what prevents a lot of our, my fellow competitors, myself, from growing even more because we could do a lot more. We just don't have the manpower to do it, and it's like that in construction all along.
Right. Yeah.
I think everybody has that same
Labor issue.
same
Yeah.
complaint.
Yeah. So, kind of on that, where are you guys finding employees? How are you going about finding them? And are you looking for people that have experience, or do you guys have a training program, or what kind of process do you go through?
We have a protocol, so we answer your question short and long, but we try to just bring in inexperienced window tinters.
Inexperienced.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the experienced window tinters are either working for places and they're set, or they have their own companies. They're good, they're really good installers, or they're set. If they're out looking, why are they out looking type of thing? And you usually
they got
learn,
bad habits or something like
you
that,
learn that
yeah.
about a month down the road. When the
when it's too late and you've already spent all the money in hiring them and onboarding.
Yeah, and the papers come in for child support, things like that. Unfortunate, but and then they disappear on you and leave you high and dry on jobs, type of thing. So we try to train everybody, and we have about a 6-month training process program that we put them through. So
You guys have something documented and already set.
yes,
That's
it's
cool.
a full-on workbook that they go, and it tells them what they're going to be paid in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, things like that.
And where are you finding these guys?
Boy, just walking around and people that know people, and we're trying to get these young kids to come in and work for us. It's a great career; they can go far with it.
Yeah.
They don't know what they want to do. They just have to have good work ethics. That's the main thing that we're looking for is good work ethics. We can train them on the installation part of it.
Yeah, the skills. Yeah.
The skills, yeah. But the other way around, it's hard to, if they don't
You're
have
looking
good
for
work
the
ethic.
character.
Yeah.
We're looking for that elusive unicorn is what we're looking for.
You and everybody else in the construction world, right?
Yes. So we felt that's the best just to train them. We do have guys approach us every once in a while, but again, like I said, they may disappear on us,
Right.
or they bring baggage with them, bad habits, and we have a great culture at our company, and that's what we really stress on. So you've got to get along with everybody else on the playground, and,
Right. Right.
type of thing. So.
Now, kind of from a curiosity standpoint, when you guys are doing big buildings, are you doing it after the glass has already been installed? I feel like from a safety and ease standpoint, maybe to do it on the ground, is there a reason why you do one versus the other? Or?
Well, most of the work is done on the interior side, and it's retrofitted to existing glass. So you might have a building that's a couple years old, and it's just not very efficient on energy. It might have been some architect's design and
it looks pretty,
It looks pretty and everything, but it's not efficient.
Right.
And they usually don't know that until they're in there a couple years, and they start seeing the bills. And then you get the squeaky wheel that's sitting up in the corner that wanted this big view window, and now there's just too much heat coming in. And of course, they're upstairs, so the heat's rising. And so it takes a couple years. Or we get buildings that they're just renovating the building and doing the image of the building, and so they'll put in new film, take off the old film that might be purple or an old silver look or a gold look, and we can put films on the inside. We can also put films on the exterior, so we can take that dated-looking building that's 20 years old, that's back in the 70s and 80s, and we can see those eras, those buildings. We can put a new film on the exterior and new fresh paint, and that building looks like a brand new building with new landscape and everything. So.
So most of what you're doing is on the renovation or improvement side, not necessarily on the new construction.
Yeah, very rarely on the new construction. The only thing on the new construction are like the conference rooms, like we're sitting in, where they just want that frosted film. We're seeing a lot of buildings where there's 3 times as much glass on the inside as the outside.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And as the tenants move in and out or update their conference rooms, we're putting a film on there. We're not sandblasting the glass, which ruins the glass. We can put your corporate logo on there, photos, anything you can think of, we can put it on glass. We can print it on film and put it on the glass. Corporate branding, things like that. Well, if that tenant moves up or moves out, you just scrape it off and you got a new window again, and the next tenant wants the same thing on there, because we don't like sitting in fish bowls, even though we like the glass. And glass tends to be cheaper to install than plaster and drywall.
Right.
And frames and all that, so that's why you see more glass, but not until you're sitting in there and you can't have a conversation.
Staring at you.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, when we moved to this building, I remember we have all our offices have the same kind of look. This glass, So for the first week or two, it was completely it was just normal
wide
glass.
Open,
It was very eerie, And you think like, oh my gosh, because from where we came from, it was the same setup, but it was frosted.
Yeah.
So you
don't even realize.
You close the door, you think you're good, right? You're on a phone call or whatever, and then you realize, oh, everybody can see me. I mean, it's fine. It's not like we're doing anything, but just it's that eerie feeling that people can see me.
Yeah, the constant distractions. One of our films is a cloaking film, which everybody has monitors, screens in their offices. Well, you can see in, but you can't see what's on the screen, so it blacks it out. So therefore, financials, HR, things like that, you don't see what's on the TV screen. So if you do not have the frost and they just want that open look, you put this film on there. It's slightly tinted, but you can't see what's on the screen.
No kidding.
It looks like a bunch of people going crazy looking at the screen.
Yeah, like, why is it all black? Why are you just staring at black
Is it the same kind of technology as the polarized lenses on sunglasses?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. Where you turn sideways and all of a sudden you can see a whole different...
It's a filter situation type
That's
of thing.
cool.
So, I mean, you can sit in there and play video games and no one knows what you're doing.
Just see the guy doing it.
Or watch TV.
Yeah. Streaming the baseball game on there.
Yes.
That's funny. So what are you seeing on the residential side? Because I know, there's 2 different schools of thought, right? Like personally, we had at our house, we had really old windows, and the first thing we did was tint them, and then just recently, about 6 months ago, had them all redone to something more efficient where they didn't have to be tinted and can bring some more light in. But where are you seeing the trend on that from the residential side?
Well, as my tagline says, improving your windows. So whatever we put on your windows, we can improve what you have. So you can go out and buy the most expensive glass out there on the market, great warranties, everything, but you're not going to get that 99.9% or up to 99.9% UV protection. So, or the heat restrictions or reduction on that, glare reduction, things like that. So you put the film on there, and now you maximized your window.
Yeah.
The efficiency of the window. Now you can leave your windows open all day. You don't have to worry about rushing home because that wood floor is starting to fade out, and you roll that rug back, and you got a faded floor. Now you got to replace the floor. privacy amongst your neighbors looking in if you're in some housing tracts, things like that. So we're always improving the windows, plus security films. A lot of people are looking at security films now because of what's been going on. They just want to protect their house, help make sure that glass is not easily, for intruders or forced entry, things like that.
Oh, so it's more like penetration proof.
Yes, we have the safety security films. It helps buy some time.
Yeah.
It's not going to guarantee that they don't get in. Most cases it will, but they're going to be making a lot of noise and waking the dog or you or setting off the alarm or letting the neighbor know that someone's trying to get in there.
Oh,
a lot of these.
I didn't think about that part. You always think residential and you think, tinting or UV protection. Yeah,
a lot of people, they live on these green belts, and these guys come up through the green belt, jump the fence, they break that back sliding door, which is the number one patio door that they'll break in because it's on the back side of the house. It's kind of private back there. They're out of the house within minutes, and the neighbor could be outside working in the yard and never even know.
Wow.
And that's happened a lot of times when we roll up onto jobs there.
It's already done, and they're looking to redo it. Yeah.
Things like that, but the residential, it's more people are working out of their house. They're trying to make it more comfortable. Reduce that glare coming in so that they look better on the video, and it's not such an eye strain on your eyes.
Get blown out from behind with the
light,
sun. Yeah, look like a silhouette sitting on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
How is it right now with COVID? In terms of the residential side, are you guys experiencing more business coming in as a result because people are home all the time and they're recognizing that maybe I should do something? Or what is that kind of mix in terms of business right now?
Yeah, most of our customers are perfectly okay with us coming in with our masks on, booties, washing our hands, sterilizing everything. They just sit in one other room and they'll come in afterwards and see what we've done type of thing. And so most everybody has been helpful and I'm trying to think of the word, but inviting,
accommodating.
Thank you. So, it hasn't really slowed our business down much at all. We actually just, during this COVID, we took probably a 2-week hit where things pretty much, and we scaled back. And boy, everybody was doing, I was doing multiple things, and my operations manager was doing all the installs but then things took off. But
took off like more so than before, or kind of back to normal?
I would say back to normal very quickly. Yeah, very quickly. And if anything, we're up a little bit. But what had happened is we were able to get into a lot of the schools that we do security films on.
Yeah,
doing a lot of security
because all the
films.
schools are closed right now, right?
And it was perfect opportunity. And even some hospitals, we were able to get in different wings of the hospital where they weren't utilizing it. In all the colleges that we do, same thing, getting in there and doing all the films. So all these projects, they wanted them done. So get in and get them done. And so now it was good on us because it wasn't necessarily nighttime work. It went back to daytime work, which is great,
I was going to say that's probably a little easier on your guys.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping it, keeping them home during the night and with their families.
So from a management standpoint, what's your structure look like, and how have you guys, worked out kind of everybody's roles?
So everybody has their job title and what they're supposed to do. We make sure that everybody has that documented and they know what that handbook looks like and what they are required to do. As a management, it's helped me free me up. I'm one that can't let things go. I've got to get in and just do everything. And
I feel like that's probably most entrepreneurs or people that,
for the most part.
Probably the number one hard thing to do for most people.
Yeah.
What's your baby?
Yeah, once I brought my wife into the business, which it doesn't work for everybody, but it works great for us. I married her probably because of her background too. It's one of the things I tell her this to the day.
It was on the resume.
I was checking things off, and that was one thing that's done amongst everything else. But her background, it allowed me to just let go because she was HR, accounting, all the things I hate to do.
Right.
And so that just worked out perfectly. And so that helped us take the company to the next level and grow it. I had someone in there that I could trust 100%. Yeah, we talk shop all the time. We brief and debrief on our way in and way out from the office. But that's what we do. It's
it's your life, right? I mean, it is. Yeah.
It's our baby. Our kids are growing up. We don't do the soccer games anymore. And, things like that. We work on the company. So, but with her taking the office section of it, me taking the sales and the installation, it's helped out.
It's pretty much the two of you kind of running most things.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the issues you guys come across? I mean, outside of maybe the marital and relationship part, but like from the business standpoint, what are some of the biggest issues that you guys have to overcome or tackle?
I would say just little day-to-day things with employees. Like I said,
People management.
Great people, great culture. But the more people you get, the more, I'm going to be late today. I've got to take this day off. Things like that come up. And now you have to work around that. So who has to cover them? Now you got to reschedule a job or, because
a lot more managing the people as opposed
to. So our calendar constantly looks like Tetris every day. It's like, where is everything going to fit? And you got to keep things going. And, we'll get out to 3 weeks in advance. I try not to get much more than 3 weeks in advance because then you start losing people.
Yeah.
And that's particularly true on our automotive. We own 2 automotive tinting companies as well. And people are spontaneous. They want their cars tinted. You get it more than 2 weeks out, and you're probably going to lose that customer because they're going to find someone else. So, so a lot of things we've learned in the automotive transfer over to the residential and commercial and back and forth type of thing.
So go ahead.
I was going to ask, so like 10 years ago, kind of going back to your wife and splitting the duties, you had mentioned somewhere in there that you've doubled the business since then, if I remember correctly, prior to us starting the show. Is it because of the fact that you've been able to kind of hand off all the HR stuff and all this other stuff to your wife for her to handle and deal with, or?
Definitely delegating things out, and then once I delegated it out to her, then she could delegate it out to the others.
Right.
And, sometimes I'm sitting there going, what do I got to do today?
That's a good problem.
Organize my paperwork on the desk, make it look like I'm doing something. I mean, it really gets down to some of those days, but we're there every day. Working hard, 60 hours a week still to this day. We'll still put in for it because I don't want to let off the throttle, especially during these times. We never let off the throttle. We just kept pushing forward and doing what we had to do and building our portfolio with different products that we're bringing in so we can diversify our company a little bit better.
That's funny you say that.
I was going to say the same thing.
We in talking to everybody, it seemed like there was two schools of thought, and most people that come on here are of the same mindset of, when everything kind of shut down in March and April, you saw a lot of people just contract and hold tight and shrink and do whatever they can to survive. And then there was, the more successful ones are the ones that are doing okay now, or the ones that said, hey, during this time, let's step on the gas and let's, throw fuel in the fire and make a push through this and not necessarily, sit back and contract. There wasn't many people just kind of doing the same thing. They did one or the other. So I think it shows why you're successful or why you've been successful. Of that's your mindset in one of those situations.
Well, it's like Warren Buffett would always say, when he starts to invest is when there's blood on the streets. When everybody's running away and there's chaos, is when he goes in and starts going to work. So it makes sense.
And we just brought in a new product, and I'm starting a new LLC. It's called Glass Armor, and it's a polycarbonate glazing system that we put on storefronts. It prevents anybody from breaking in the windows.
Huge right
getting
now.
in. So
riots.
We're a little bit behind on getting it going, but I think going forward, people are going to want this. It's also, we have a thicker product that's ballistic proof. So, they're not, I don't want to say proof because we don't know what they're going to use tomorrow. But in most cases, it stops most of the,
an RPG.
stops most rounds from getting in. So a lot of schools are looking at it. Police departments are looking at it. Put out a few bids already on it. So just as the funds come in.
Is that something that you guys have found from a manufacturer that you have a relationship with, or is it something proprietary to what you guys are doing?
It's through a manufacturer that I have a good working relationship. He's been rolling this product out. He's been doing a lot of different national chain accounts that loss prevention. It's huge through the roof. They get broken into. It's $100,000 minimum each time, and they get broken in every couple of weeks type of thing. So they stop. Let's see. So
I saw a video a few months ago or a couple months ago when all the riots started happening, and there was a group of kids that were throwing, it must have been that kind of glass, or at least that film that they're putting over. They were throwing rocks and doing everything they could to get it. It was bouncing off. I mean, it was shattering a little bit, but it was not breaking. And then you saw the cops come in the corner and they all took off. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense if you want to save yourself a pretty penny in terms of insurance and all that, and just lost, inventory, and it's
Yeah, and it's what they have to do to stay in business. So they're forced into do it. I mean, they'll close up some of their shops in different areas, but they can't close up all their shops. They're just going to follow them around wherever they go. So a lot of schools, their admin areas would be protected with this ballistic material as well.
That's cool. So from a marketing standpoint, are you guys working, you go back to like the commercial stuff that you guys are doing. Are you working directly for like the property management companies, or maybe is it more for like a GC that's doing the TI work? Where you get most of your business from?
It's a combination everywhere. And it's all of the above. Property managers, they're working on that building. Like I said earlier, there's that squeaky wheel sitting in the corner. That's,
Right.
And they signed it, they take over the whole top floor maybe. And so got to make them happy. We're working on a building right now just because of that. A lot of GCs, they get in and that's what the architect spec'd on it. Either the graffiti shield for the exterior of the glass so the kids aren't carving into it. They're putting up all this glass. Frosted films like we've talked about before too, or solar control films. So just a combination
anywhere
of
and everywhere, huh?
And I must get probably on average a week 30 sets of good plans that come across with requesting some sort of film.
On my next question, I mean, it doesn't sound like you guys are having to do much by way of marketing, or you've got a pretty good flow of incoming work.
I mean, the only marketing we really do, and we spent 1% on marketing last year.
Cool.
1%.
That's not a bad deal.
We had a guy come in that wanted to take over and do more marketing for us, and I'm like, well, this is what we spent, because we track everything. I'm like, 1%. A lot of it's me out there just talking, knocking on doors, and building those relationships and getting out there. The rest comes from our glass houses that we do work. They're looking at the plans, and they have to put a bid in for the glass, plus they put the film on top of it, and now we make them look good. They get the job.
They're referring you out.
So those are kind of our, my external salespeople, the soldiers out there on the field.
Working for you through those relationships.
Exactly. Because, we bid it. There's enough meat left on the bone for everybody to make a profit off of it. And we make them look good by getting in on time, doing the job, and they're happy. And so they'll continue to call us.
Very cool. It's smart. Yeah. You got people working for you off the payroll.
Yeah. The only thing we just added recently was we have an internal social media guy that just keeps up on all that Facebook and Instagram stuff. The stuff that I used to drive down the freeway trying to do, and misspelling words and keeping it human, but misspelling words, things like that.
I think that's great that you brought that up. We've talked before, especially recently, about how this space, contractors, construction, it's pretty far behind in that avenue from the social media aspect. And I mean,
a lot of avenues.
But I mean, if you would have asked a contractor 5 years ago, hey, you want to hire a social media guy? The guy would have laughed in your face. But now it's almost like you kind of have to do that. So I guess my question is, what was that turning point, or what was that deciding factor that made you think, hey, we actually need this?
Probably just, like I said before, driving down is one extra thing I had to do. So I had to give it up. But, sitting there.
So you were on it. You were doing it already. So this is just something that
and learning,
now you don't have to do.
50-year-old guy trying to learn how to do this and what all the hashtags were and what it meant. You win some, you lose some. You're like, now I got 1 view. Now I got 50 views. All right. So I brought in this young graduate, young man to work for us. And that's all he does. He sits in the office. And so then I brought another one in just for the automotive division. So these two sit in the same room and go back and forth. And, one's a professional photographer, so our quality of photos are real good. And our Instagram and all that goes up. I look at it as kind of a portfolio. Anybody can go to it and see some of our
you're showing off,
there.
right? Yeah.
It's all it is. It's like bragging.
It's like testimonials almost, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I guess you had that mindset, and you were aware that was something you needed to focus on. You just brought these guys in so that you didn't have to do it yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
It's kind of that mindset of hiring people that are better than you, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it, for what we pay for them, I mean, they do their job. They do a real good job, but it's hard to put a number on that. Is it really paying for itself? But I think you have to do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, then you don't have a social media page or anything like that.
Yeah.
Who are you? So
it's and we've talked about it before. We've said it before. It's that mindset of society right now where they expect people to be transparent. They expect to be able to see things because it's hard to buy from somebody if you can't see what they've done before, if they don't have that. Because people want to go, NU-VUE. Let me Google search them and let me look up on they're going to do all that stuff before they actually
legitimacy to that too, or at least they add that.
Especially on the residential or the car side, right? It's probably not so much on the commercial, but I mean, I'm sure it'll get there at some point where these property managers, they have Instagram and Facebook and everything else. I mean, they're reading that stuff too. So
Yeah, and LinkedIn and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So just a combination of everything. But we'll do videos, and I'm going to start doing YouTube videos, like 1-2 minute videos, just so answering people's questions, things like that.
Showing
So
how you
we'll-
guys install certain stuff or how
yeah,
certain
just
things work.
answering
Yeah.
questions. Do I get nighttime privacy? How come I can't stand in my bathroom and without my neighbor seeing me? Yeah, it's the number one question we get: nighttime privacy. Well,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work that way. But if I put film on, will it kill my houseplants? Things like that.
Yeah.
Just
We spoke with a guy last week, similar. So they created they're just going nuts in terms of those videos, but these little 30-second, 1-minute videos that people are searching for, and it's a whole marketing plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they realize that this is kind of beyond the means of what I can do, and then they're calling in and actually hiring them out. So, I mean, not that they're going to be putting film on their own windows unless they're going to do it on their mom's car, but you know what I mean? But that same idea of creating at least an understanding of what it takes. And, for me, when I'm about to buy something, I know Mike's very similar. We get very obsessive and we start searching a lot in terms of whether it's vehicles or whatever,
Yeah.
So I think to that same vein, you're right. Like as you start putting those videos out, people are going to be searching, they're going to be finding you. And he's like, for him, he was saying, we're everywhere, at least for them, them in terms of perception, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very strange animal in terms of social media and the internet.
But like you
and how
said,
it
it's
is,
something
but-
you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to really do it. And I know with our automotive, we had a YouTube vlogger come in and we tinted his personal truck. And I can't remember how many followers he has, but we're up to 24,000 views on it.
Just because he reposted and tagged you guys.
You
Yeah.
put it in there, and and now we have people coming in, and
That's awesome.
that's 24,000 people that we have a hard time reaching.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this works.
Right.
So and it's just figuring out what works and what doesn't work for our company.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Kind of switching that mindset though. I mean, as an old school contractor, you kind of have to switch that mindset and know that that's something you got to do for sure.
Yeah.
I got a personal question for you, just because this is technology I saw. Shoot, I was back in Texas at this point. Somebody had approached me, and I was kind of in between jobs and coaching baseball and doing some other things. And he's like, "Hey, man, I think you should do this on the side." But I haven't seen it anywhere since. So he would go into like supermarkets in the freezer section, and he would put on this film that you couldn't see at all. And when you close the door, you can't see it all. And you open the door, and the glass kind of frosts up, or like condensation or whatever.
Condensation, yeah.
And when you close the door, you could see like Dreyer's ice cream. There was like an ad there from the condensation or from the glass like frosting up. It would do something to where that portion of the glass, whatever that film that you put on, like wouldn't frost up at all. And so it was like these clear ads basically you couldn't see until you opened and then shut the door. Is that something? So I've seen it put on, and I've actually put it on myself on a couple different things. And
I've never seen it here, though.
we were supposed to have these big deals with all these grocery stores, and I was supposed to be traveling the country putting this stuff on for millions of dollars, right? But it never happened. I don't know why, but is that something you've ever seen before or heard of?
Well, I know that film that you're talking about, and they do that for that reason, so that the doors don't condensate up when you open them
okay.
each time. So
Okay.
that would be complete film. So what you'd have to do is take that film, put it through a plotter, and cut out the
Yeah, and
Dreyer's
cut out
ice
the-
cream logo,
right.
and just put that on. So
Yeah.
everything else fogs up except for that.
Yeah.
But we have the frosted film, the smart tint, so we can just hit it with a switch or our cell phones, and we can activate that window to frost up. We've been doing a lot of that lately.
That's very like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot
Futuristic
of that.
stuff, man.
Those are the $20-30 million.
I was gonna say,
I was putting that on there.
Yes. You don't see that at the tract home down in Ladera, right? Yeah.
But small windows, office windows, things like that, where you just need privacy for a little.
Yeah, or
short
especially
time.
probably like conference rooms, right? If you got 100% glass, so you just hit the switch when you walk in. And,
Yeah, exactly, and that's what
Yeah.
we're doing a lot on. So they just want
Very
some
cool.
privacy when people go into a meeting. Otherwise, it's opened up and clear type of thing. So
Very cool.
so much technology, right?
I know,
from,
right?
From 20 years ago.
I know it's all
crazy.
kinds of fun stuff.
So what's the future look like for you guys? I mean, I know we talked a little bit beforehand, but I'll let you go into as much detail as you want on that. But is there a 5, 7, 8 year plan? I mean, for growth, or are you comfortable where you're at, or?
No, I'm never content. Never content.
The Maverick.
Yeah, I've always got to keep going. My wife is like, would you stop doing all these other companies? Glass Armor, we got Turf Guard is another product, these automotive shops. No, I feel like I'm just getting started, and doing it for 36 years, I can't say I've ever stopped learning. We're constantly learning.
Well, just like all the technology we just talked about, I feel like there's something new every other year.
Just always something. And
yeah.
And I talk amongst my peers out there, and I know just about everybody out there, good friends with them. And, what are you doing? What's working for you type of thing. And, but to answer your question, no, there's no end in sight. We're just going to keep growing and doing what we got to do. And
more locations in the future, or just growing the San Diego base, or?
Yeah, I would like to branch out to some different markets out there. I'm looking at Colorado as one. I've got some family back there. I actually go back there every 4 to 6 weeks and work with my dad on the ranch and learning the ranching business and all that. And
well, if you need somebody to take over the ranch, let me know. that's my 15-year plan.
So, it might involve me being back there, but running the companies from afar, but out of Colorado again type of thing. But, you just take it. It's just like Starbucks. You can take this model and just put it in any major city and just build off of it type of thing. And that's kind of why I set up the NU-VUE logo, is to make it look like a franchise, because one day I wanted to take it to a couple different
Well, and especially if you have all the, like you said, you've got those clear job descriptions for your management, and you've got the training, book, and if you've got all those systems in place, it is relatively easy just to put it in and go.
As soon as I can learn how to take myself completely out of the company, I think that's when we've hit our peak as far as, now we can take this to different
when you're
markets.
not needed. Yeah. Very cool, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Greg. Thanks so much. And before we let you go, we want to give you an opportunity to, let the people know where to find you, any of your websites, phone number, email, social medias, all the things.
Yeah, our website is NU-VUE Window Films, so that's spelled NU-VUE Window Films.
Okay.
We also have a website that's spelled just like NU-VUE Window Films, so if people didn't know the spelling of our way.
Just redirect to the,
Yeah. Our phone number is 619-994-2882 out of San Diego, but we do cover all of Southern California. We go from Beverly Hills to Cabo. We've done some houses down there. We go from Palm Springs to the water and everything in between. But residential, so that's your safety, security films, privacy films, commercial, same thing.
Very cool, man. Cool. Yeah. Well, I got a truck out back if you want to practice on.
I got some silver film for you.
Silver, only the best. Well, thanks so much again, Greg. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Stay safe. Greg. Keep in touch, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.